that the opposition has, from the time this country went into multi-party dispensation, been giving alternative policy statements, has been giving alternative policy options to the Ugandans. Many times I feel sad when the Nabanjas and their friends begin deceiving the Ugandans that what policies do they offer? What do they have? What alternatives do they offer? So I just want to remind them today that the office of the leader of the opposition from 2006 has been giving policy options, has been giving alternative statements. And so, Lop, thank you today that again you are bringing us here to let them know that if they are not reading, it has not been a problem. But you have been having compendiums of policy options. Thank you that the Ugandans are receiving from your office and the able members of parliament who are here, who belong to the alternative government, the alternative budget. And I want to congratulate you, colleagues, for this milestone. Uganda is not a poor country like many people think, or like our leaders want us to believe. Uganda is a nation that has poor managers who manage a nation with a chaotic mentality. And because of that, they have made corruption a norm of managing our society, to the extent that corruption has been referred to as cooperation. And that is what the Honorable Kyagulanyi was talking about, the president of the National Unity Platform, that corruption is kind of now a way of life in Uganda. Museveni's government has institutionalized it to that extent that when you are not corrupt, actually the system is likely to weed you out. You look alien when you are not corrupt in Museveni's government. And today, leader of the opposition, with the theme that we are running for this year, we want to tell all Ugandans that together we can fight this corruption and make Uganda a better place for all of us, where people, with the taxes that they pay, can see services getting closer to them. And yes, I know it can happen. The Auditor General's report of 2023-2024 alluded to the fact that over 316 billion is lost in the medical field due to corruption. And this is out of expired drugs. Can you imagine a country having expired drugs when Ugandans are dying because of lack of medical supplies in the countryside? Over 316 billion going to waste because of corruption. And we know that health nations are built by health populations. And so if you can just not even be mindful enough of a population that you lead, would you really be worthy being called a leader? And I concur with what His Excellency Kyagulanyi said, that it's misrule that is bringing us the far that we have gone. And it's our responsibility to make sure that we fight the mismanagers of our nation. I know that majority of us here went through thick and thin to get to your positions. Just the recent experience of Kawempe tells you where we are going. A lot of money wasted for people to make their decision. And that even when people have made their decision, you still waste a lot of taxpayers' money you abuse people, you assault people, you insult people, you break people's ribs just because there is an election. What a shame for our leaders. But all this is due to corruption. You know the amount of money that was lost in Kawempe? People, instead of talking about the issues that affect the ordinary citizens, they went on abusing members of the opposition. They have no agenda. They have no agenda. If you have an agenda, why don't you give it to the people so that they can vote you? We know that Museveni's agenda is impoverishing the citizenry of Uganda and making sure that we all remain in this poverty, because it is this poverty that he uses to hold us hostage in our own countries. Can you imagine a country where levels of employment are very low, and that agriculture is the biggest employer of citizens of Uganda, but even agriculture, they still tamper with it? A report from the Ministry of Agriculture indicated that over 445 billion was wasted to corruption out of abuse and misuse of essential inputs in agriculture. And yet I thought that if there is any government that is worth being called a government, would have been so keen on ensuring that they provide water for production, they ensure that people who are involved in the agriculture subsector get the best of what they want. Because this is one of the most employers of our Ugandans, but they still swindle the money from the farmers. What a shame. Leader of opposition, thank you for giving us this opportunity today to let the country know that Uganda is not a poor country, and for Ugandans to understand that corruption has devastating effects on human capital development and social equity of our nation. So the better we fight it before all of us are consumed by this sag of corruption. Ladies and gentlemen, I would not want to take you far because you all know what is happening. Much of the money that is wasted is our money. It's money that you and I pay in form of taxes. When they are wasting it, they don't want to let you know that it's your money. When I was still here as member of parliament, actually towards the end of our term, Uganda gave a contract to a company which was going to do roads in Congo. I kept asking myself, how do we begin doing roads in Congo when our own roads are still very poor? It's like giving food to the neighbors when your own children are sleeping hungry. And I kept asking myself, yes, it could be that we are getting businesses from Congo. Yes, it could be that possibly we are chasing security. But doesn't it also concern us that these roads are some form of insecurity to our own countrymen and women? Some of the roads that were supposed to be worked on, I saw a clip of tourists sleeping in the middle of my road, the one taking me to my home from Chikorongo to Bwera. Tourists are taking photos in the ditches. Ugandan roads are becoming tourist attraction sites because of the way they look. Not that they look well, not that really everybody is admiring them, but because of the pitholes that we have. The potholes that we have are making our roads tourist centers. And then you stand here and you say, I'm a leader of a country. I've made your country look great. You've managed us for 40 years. And in 40 years, we still have dilapidated roads. We still have roads that can be used as graves. What a shame. And all this is due to corruption. So having a theme that talks about combating corruption as the only sure way to effective service delivery is a welcome idea. And I would like to equally call upon all of us here, stakeholders, Ugandans, let us make this our issue. Corruption hits all of us. I know that wherever you go, because of corruption, you are now the targets. People begin asking you, honorable, our roads, honorable, our roads. And yet you and I contribute to a central pool where we think that our managers, the managers of this nation, the so-called leaders at the higher level who control taxes, are supposed to answer to some of these concerns. But now it is you who is being asked why the roads are not made. And yet for you, you have done your duty. Continue shouting, continue making noise, continue bringing these issues out.